today's lesson is applications of linear systems, and our objectives are to write systems of linear equations, and we're going to use the same ideas for solving systems of using substitution and elimination to find our answers. That's from our last two lessons that we've learned in this bunch. In this chapter. So let's look at example 1. A metal worker, Andrew, has some ingots of metal alloy that are 20% copper, and I made X to be the 20% alloy, and others that are 60% copper, and I made that to be our variable Y as our 60% alloy. How many kilograms of each type of ingot should Andrew combine to create 80 kilograms of 52% copper alloy? So there are two equations that we need to make for there. So first of all, we're going to make the weight. How much of each kilogram do we need to make? So we're going to start with the weight. So I'm going to take my 20% alloy plus my 60% alloy, and it's going to equal 80 kilograms. Altogether, the weight has to be 80 kilograms. Then we're going to take our percentage of everything. So we're going to turn all the percentages into decimals. So our X would be 0.20 or 0.2 X. For everything, like if it's 20%, you need 0.2 X plus 0.6 Y equals. Now for this whole thing, this second part is, the last part is, it's 52% of 80. Okay, for your homework tonight, you might have something like they had 4 pens and 4 pencils, 5 pens and 6 pencils, using variables for pens and pencils, and then it altogether cost this much money. How many pens and pencils did they get? So that's how you're going to do your stuff today for your homework tonight. And if they mention money, dimes would be how much? 0.10, and quarters would be 0.25 cents, things like that. That's how you're going to do it for homework. Now, you can do the substitution or elimination. Now, since there are decimals in here, I'm going to go with substitution. So I'm going to get Y by itself, so I'm going to subtract X to both sides. So I'm going to have Y equals 80 minus X, or you could do negative X plus 80. It does not matter. And I'm going to plug this in for Y. So it's going to be 0.2x plus 0.6, 80 minus x equals, and then I'm going to do the math already. I'm going to do 0.52 times 80. Alright, so I got 41.6. I know I'm going to distribute, so it's going to be 0.2x plus, if I do the math, it's going to be 48 minus 0.6x equals 41.6. I can combine my x's. That would be negative 0.4x plus 48 equals 41.6. Then subtract 48 from 41.6. So it's going to be negative 4x equals negative 6.4. Divide by negative 0.4. So x equals 16. So I need 16 kilograms of the 20 alloys. And what does it ask us to find? So if I have 16 kilograms of 20%, what do I need for Y? So notice altogether we need 80 grams. So I'm going to have 16 plus Y equals 80. Subtract 16, subtract 16. So Y equals 64. So those are your two answers. You do not need to put it in a coordinate point system like we did before. All right, next one. All right, so word problem on this one is a little different. We want to break even. We want to make at least not be in the negative amount of money this time. Suppose a model airplane club publishes a newsletter. Expenses are 90 cents for printing and mailing each copy, plus 600 total for research and writing. The price of the newsletter is $1.50 per copy. How many copies of the newsletter must the club sell to break even? Okay, so we're going to make two types of equations. So the first one is the first sentence we have here. The first sentence says our expenses are, so the money you make altogether, so Y equals. So the expenses are $90, 90 cents per 90 cents, but that would be 0.90. 0.90 cents per copy, that's X, plus the $600 for research. Okay, that's how they want to do it. We can live with it. We can do it, you guys. Let them do the money. Okay, now the second one is the second sentence. The third sentence is our second equation we're going to deal with, and it's the price altogether, the amount of money, and the expenses per copy. So they're going to sell their copy for $1.50 per copy. Not plus membership, it's just $1.50 per copy for the newsletter. So here are your two equations. Notice again I have Y equals and a Y equals. We did this in when we did substitution. I can substitute this in for that. So it looks like this. $1.50x equals 0.90 x plus 600. So I'm going to subtract 0.90 x, 0.90 x. So $1.50 minus 90 cents. So it's going to be 60 cents equals 600 divided by 60.60. Ooh, it looks like they have to sell a lot of these. 600 divided by... Yep, they have to sell 1,000 copies of their paper to break even. All right, so this is the kind of stuff you're going to be doing for your homework tonight. Notice this 600 right here is what their starting point will be. That's how you'll start your, and it always goes second. All right, let's try another one. Okay, so this one's all about flights. Now, 8th graders, you're going on a trip to Washington, D.C. Your flight going there is going to be either quicker or slower than the flight coming back. What we're going to talk about today is going to be how it happens. All right? So let's look at how this one happens. Suppose Mateo flies from Miami, Florida to San Francisco, California. It takes 6.5 hours to fly 2,600 miles. So he's flying 2,600 miles. So Mateo, we're going to do his is Mateo's. And it takes him, and he's against the headwind. All right, so his is going to look like this. Airspeed minus wind speed times the 6.5, how long it takes him, equals how many miles he flew. Right. Then at the same time, Holland flies from San Francisco to Miami. So she's going the opposite direction as Mateo. And her plane travels at an average airspeed, but her flight only takes 5.2 hours. So they're going the same speed, but hers takes only 5.2. So what's going on here? So she's going with the airspeed. So Holland's has air plus wind with her. So it's 5.2 equals 2,600. Okay, so the best way to get this one done is I'm going to get rid of the decimals. So I'm going to get rid of it, I'm going to divide both sides by 6.5 on Mateo's. So I'm going to do 2,600. 2,600 divided by 6.5. So A minus W, I'm going to take away the parentheses. A minus W equals 400. And then I'm going to do the same thing with Holland's, but I'm going to put the answer right under Mateo's. So 5.2. So this one's going to have A plus W. Ooh, this looks familiar from yesterday's. So 2,600 divided by 5.2 is 500. Looks like elimination would be the best way for this one. Now, I can get rid of A's by subtracting them, or I can get rid of W's by adding them. Well, I like adding so much better than subtraction. So I'm going to add the numbers. So I can do A plus A, or 1A plus 1A. 1A plus 1A is 2A. And a negative W plus a W is 0, W. And then 400 plus 500 is 900. And then divide by 2. So A equals 450. So the airspeed is 450. So if I put it in, and I put it back up into this section right over here, my wind would be, if I had 450 plus something equals 500, my wind is 50 miles per hour. That 50 miles per hour wind still makes you take over a little over an hour extra to get going opposite directions. And that's the reason why it goes faster going one way than it does the other. All right. See you later. Goodbye.